Hello and welcome to this Edexcel GCSE Geography Walking Talking Mock, and this one's on resources and is the first part. This is all designed to help improve your confidence in reading and answering exam questions. If you've not seen this series before, then please have a read through this slide and pause it if you need to, just to see how best to use it. So going through the paper yourself, listening to what I've said and making notes on there. So pause it if you need to now. Looking at the resource management section from paper 2. As with weather, this is in two different parts. You will all answer question 3, and you can see that it tells you this here. And then you will select from either question 4, which is based on energy, or question 5 based on water. As we've studied energy, then it will be the energy question, which should be question 4. As always, it gives you the instructions of how to mark the multiple choice answers by marking an X in the box, not a circle, not a tick, not anything else. So, the distribution and demand for natural resources varies around the world. Fish are a biotic resource. Name 2 other biotic resources. So it's giving you an example of what a biotic resource is, but hopefully you should know the key term anyway. And it's now asking you to name 2 others. This is like a state question. You just need to give 2 points. You don't need that much space. Single words are absolutely fine. For 2 marks, should be 2 minutes, but you can probably do that in 20 seconds. Have a go now. Next questions rely on a figure in the resource booklet. So study figure 3 in the resource booklet. So before we read the questions, let's just have a look and see what we've got. So here we can see, always read the title first. So Global Trends in the State of Marine Fish Stocks, 1974 to 2011. And then along the bottom we have the year, and then we have the percentage of stocks assessed going up the y-axis. And we can see the difference from underfished, fully fished and overfished. All right, so we can see that the amount of stocks that we're overfishing is increasing, the amount of underfishing is reducing, and the fully fished is kind of staying fairly static, but may have increased at the back just from first glance. So what have we got to do? Identify the percentage of stock that was overfished in 2011. So identify, so we look for 2011. And we looked at the overfished. Now this is a cumulative chart, so these are percentages, so you have to work out. Obviously up here it looks like 100%, but that would not be the answer. You're looking at having to take away this amount from the 100%, and that would give you what is left. It would help if you have a ruler, and you can use a ruler to read across to the scale here. Okay, so have a quick look and then see which is the best option. 28, 58, 78 or 98. Well, you definitely know 98, it's not that much, so you're probably looking at between these two. So have a go now. So again, that's another really simple one. It shouldn't take you too long. The next question. Calculate the difference between the percentage of total stock underfished between 1974 and 2011. So calculate, it's only worth 1 mark. It's a very basic question. You don't need to show you working, but you can do if it helps you. So we're looking at the total stock underfished. Make sure you read in the question what it's asking you to look at. So if we look at the changes, here's underfished. In 1974, it was around 40%. In 2011, you take your ruler across to have a look at what that is, and you take away the little number from the big number, and that would give you your answer. So have a go at that now. Look, the examples they've given for biotic resources, worms and dogs, there's a little bit of an odd one, but humans as well. But a biotic resource is any living thing. And you could also include plants or anything like that in there as well. So it could be fruits, vegetables, plants as well. A, 28% was the correct answer for the amount of stock overfished, and then you could have an answer between 31 and 27%. So we looked at 40 minus 10 gives you 30, so we would be in the right ballpark there. Now we have a suggest question. Suggest one reason for the trend in the percentage of stocks underfished shown in figure 3. So suggest. Now this is giving a reason that you may not have studied directly, but could be applied from the information you've learned in the course. You could apply that to this question. It's 2 marks, okay? And it's the reason for the trend. The first mark you will get is for noting the trend of what has happened and then giving a reason for that. So if we look here, what is the trend of underfished stocks? Well, it has reduced, from 40 to around 10%. Now we need to think about, well, what are the reasons are? So you'd start your answer, the trend shows that the amount of underfished stock has reduced by, and then you will go on to explain your answer. Remember, it's only 2 marks, it's only a quick one, you won't need all of that space. Have a go now. The answers very quickly then. So what you're looking at saying is the amount of stock that have been underfished has reduced. This could have been due to an increase in overfishing, which has led to a stock or a reduced stock in the future. Overfishing leads to fewer younger fish to grow into adult fish, which means that all stocks would then be overfished in the future. So a bit of a weird mark scheme for that one, but that's what you're going to get sometime. The final question on question 3 is suggest 2 ways the trends shown in figure 3 would impact on this environment. Again, we have a suggest command word. So this is giving reasons, developed answers, using your knowledge and applying that to this different scenario. It's worth 4 marks, and you can see that you've got 2 different ways, so you will be able to get 2 marks for each. So you might want to start to discuss the different trends and then say how this would impact on the environment. So again, if we look at the resource very quickly, we can see that the amount of stock overfished has increased. This means that, so what impact is that going to have on the environment? So think about all the different possible ways that overfishing or increasing the amount of fish we take out the sea is going to impact on the environment. Have a go now. Now, because it is a suggest question, there are a whole wide range of correct answers open to you. So it may be with overfishing there's going to be fewer fish left in the ocean, and you might get 1 mark for giving data from the figure to support that up. You might be talking about the food chain and the nutrient cycle within the ocean as well. So there's lots of different things. Another one could be that if the fish stocks decline in one area, then fishermen might move to other areas, creating that part of the ocean and the environment to be affected there as well. So have a look at your answers, see how you got on. Any weaknesses, then you need to revise. Now you have a choice from question 4 or 5, either question 4, energy resource management, or question 5, water resource management. Should always be question 4 that you're going to look at, but always read the information carefully just in case they try and catch you out. So please note that the longer question on this that we'll look at in the next video will have a SPAG marks of 4 included in it. So the development and production and consumption of different energy resources needs to be managed carefully. Identify the renewable energy resource. And this is quite simple. You just have to choose which one is renewable energy. Okay, make sure you read the question carefully. Very quick one, 1 mark, off you go. Next up is study figure 4 in the resource booklet. So before we look at the questions, we look at the resource. And we can see, reading the title, renewable energy generated by wind power in the UK between 2000 and 2013. And we have the year along the x-axis and the amount of energy. And it's looking at the difference between onshore and offshore wind farms. We can see that overall it has increased, and we can see that it was mainly onshore wind farms, but offshore is again increasing rapidly as well. So looking at the questions, calculate the increase in onshore wind power generation between 2000 and 2010. So onshore generation is the light blue colour between 2000 and 2010. Now simple maths, but first of all work out how much each little square is worth. So we've got 5 squares are worth 2000, so each square is effectively worth 400. So in 2000 it was 400 megawatts, in 2000 it was 4000 megawatts. So we can work out the difference there. So what was the increase in megawatts? And always look at the value that you're given here so you know what figure. Is it a percentage or a value? So have a quick look again. 2000, 2010, what was the difference? Have a go now. The next question, calculate the percentage of total wind power that was from offshore generation in 2010. So what's the total? So we work out, we look here and we look very carefully at these small bars so we can see 4,000 was onshore, and then we've got 1, 2, 3.5, which would be around 1,400, 1,500. So you should know how to work out the percentages. The total is around 5,400 and we're looking at 1,400 of those. Now it's only worth 1 mark. You don't need to show your marking, but it would probably help if you do write down the total value and the amount of value that was offshore. So have a go at that now. So we can see the answers that we have. For 4A it was C. For 4B, 3,600, so the 4,000 minus 400, but you can see there is a little bit of room for error there. And then 24.5%, but again, because it's difficult to read exactly, there was a room for error there as well. So mark, see how you've gone. Can you work out if you got it wrong, why you got it? Now we have to identify the total wind power generated in 2015 if the trend on figure 4 continued, and we've got a number of different options here. So the easiest way, if you've got your ruler, is to see the trend, and we can see that it is increasing, and so you'd put a ruler against here to see the average trend and see where it would lead us to if we went up, and it would lead us to around here somewhere, so anywhere between 10 and 12,000. So we have a look on the paper here and we can see which one it is likely to be. So even before sort of checking all the options, we can see which one it is. So have a go now. Now the next question, suggest one reason for the trend between 2000 and 2010 in figure 4. So what is the trend? Well, we can see suggest means giving reasons for things that you may not have learnt about directly, but you've got to apply your knowledge. So why has the amount of wind power generated increased? It's only worth 2 marks. One reason, remember the connectives you need for explaining. So why do you think wind power has increased? Have a go now. Next, we have explain one reason why energy consumption per person has increased in the last 100 years. Again, the command word is explain. So we need to give reasons and we need to use connectives such as this is because, this leads to, this causes, etc. Just one reason why energy consumption per person. So why are we using more energy per person in the last 100 years? You only need one reason, 2 marks. Remember, this is point marked. So have a go at that now. So we can see the answer was B. And then one mark for suggesting a reason and another mark for the extension. So it may be desire to increase the UK energy mix, which would rely fossil fuels, reduce the reliance on fossil fuels. So we've got all of those different points we could give. Then what are the reasons for changes in energy consumption? And we can see here it could be increasing personal wealth leading to increase of goods, rising car ownership, the demand for oil, etc. So really simple, straightforward points that you should know anyway. So have a look at the next video for the longer questions I hope this has been useful. Thanks for watching. See you again soon. Bye.